Thank you for joining. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and you're going to want to hear what we're going to be talking about today, which is recycling. And our guest and friend is Jeanmarie Massa from the Solid Waste Management from Miami-Dade County.
Yes,
and
thank
from
you.
the special division of that.
Recycling, of course.
And so it's so nice to see you here again today, all right? And you brought some things with us.
I did.
And folks, I'm going to tell you that they are all clean.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
not left over from
Nothing.
from our lunch.
Right.
And you carry this stuff around with you.
I do, because you know what they say, even though we're words people, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yes. And, I was out in front of my yard this weekend. I'm thinking there's a couple bottles out there. I said, if I don't pick these up, all right, they're just going to keep rolling down the street until something happens. Right. And so I want you to know that I did pick it up.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for doing that.
And I put it right into our blue container. I hope I did it.
Recycling cart.
Yes, I hope I did that correctly.
That was exactly right.
Yes.
Perfect.
So let's talk a couple things. We're going to get on to the holidays, right?
Okay.
Because we have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, lots of stuff to recycle. But let's talk about some of the challenges with recycling that people are having.
We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to recycle the right thing. We have our recycle right information all over the place. And I know some people are confused, and it really is. It's easy to get confused. And people are always saying, oh, what's the numbers? Doesn't matter what the numbers are. We have distilled this down to the simplest thing: bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, cartons. And by cartons, we mean milk and juice cartons. And if it's not those things, it doesn't go in the cart.
And we know that people have to understand it and get a feel for it and know that it's the right thing, and then to get them in the habit of doing it. Because if you're not in the habit, it's not going to happen.
That's right. That's exactly right. And, we pick up every other week for the most part. There's a couple places that may have different pickup schedules, but every other week. And we ask you to bring your cart out by 7 a.m. because even if you haven't seen the truck there until 11 a.m. since we started in 2008, the day you don't bring your cart out will be the day there's a new person on the route starting at the beginning of your block at 7 a.m. and they're going to go by and no cart out. We can't empty it.
Right.
So
let's talk about Thanksgiving.
Oh, great.
Right? It's right around the corner.
It is.
And everybody, all that summer weight that they didn't lose, all right, they're going to pack it back on, baby.
That's right. That's right.
So let's talk about how to recycle during Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you, because I am really getting concerned about what's going to be coming in these carts. And so remember I said bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, cartons. So like aluminum cans, great. Aluminum container, not great. And this was the best I could do to get a turkey in the aluminum pan that you cook it in. So, and by the way, that's not recyclable either.
So, but since you're at this, why isn't this good?
Because there really is not a market for this. And we have a stable market for aluminum cans. And this is not the same as this. If you feel this, it's heavier.
Yep.
Yeah, it's thicker. And so, and remember I told you when we did our tour of the MRF that steel cans are attracted by a magnet, but aluminum cans are repelled. And so it's not the same. The reader doesn't read it like this. So
when we get food brought to the house,
yes.
All right, or you go to Publix and you get I think I got it right, Susan, with containers like this.
Yes.
This is not recyclable.
Correct.
Right.
Not in our program. It's
okay.
not.
All right. So let's talk about, because there are a lot of people, again, that are getting stuff brought to the house.
Oh, yeah.
So that habit was really sort of generated last year or
yes.
so, right?
Yeah.
And so the question is, what should they, if they're not sure what to do?
Yeah.
What do they do?
You know what? I hate to say it. It pains me every time I say this. But
you're listening, Frank.
Yes,
all right, it hurts her to say it.
It hurts me. But when in doubt, throw it out.
When in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're just not sure, it's actually better to put it in the garbage. I mean, you know all about our garbage facility, our waste to energy plant. So actually, aluminum and steel is pulled out at the end. It's not as good a material as if we put it in recycling. But
so if somebody said, I'm going to start putting the stuff in the bright blue container, if they started with cans like this, if they still do that, and what about single bottle uses? That goes into where?
Oh, bottles are good.
All right.
Plastic bottles, glass bottles are good. If you have a screw top or something like
And
that,
if
that's
people are
perfect.
still drinking Coke. All right,
Yeah, of course.
So plastic soda bottles put in there. Are there
Yes.
still glass bottles made?
In our program, glass bottles are okay. I'm trying to think what would be a glass bottle. Beer bottle is a glass bottle, so that's acceptable.
So let's look at things that people use on a regular basis where you think you're doing a good job. Let's say it is, what do they call this? She's going to close the soap for your washing machine.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
Right.
That's a plastic bottle. It has like a cap on it. That is perfect for recycling.
So 3 things people could do right off the bat. Coke cans,
right?
They can do single-use plastic bottles,
right?
And they can do your
laundry soap. Perfect.
Laundry soap.
Yep. That's great. Even the softener, comes in the same kind of thing. Good.
So that's a good place to start.
Right. If the top is more narrow than the rest of the container, it's considered a bottle and it's okay for recycling.
Do you have any count about how many of these guys? No, a lot that you get.
It's a lot. I can't even think of the tons. Next time I'll look it up before.
So it's interesting because we know that the plastic that is used today compared to 5 years ago, right? It's a lot thinner.
It is. It is.
And it's interesting. Before it said we want to take that bottle and put it on the counter. If it didn't stand up, we'd think it was terrible. Now we go, it's okay because I know why it's that way.
Yeah. Oh, because it's so thin. And
yes.
And if it's got a little bump on the side, it'll go right over.
And the same happened with this.
Yeah. Oh, so much thinner. It takes so many more cans to make aluminum cans to make a ton of aluminum cans. Same way with the plastic. A lot more plastic is needed to make a ton now.
Okay. So let's say the men and women come around, they pick up their recycled stuff, they put it into the truck,
right?
Then they go out to your plants. Where's that plant?
It's not really Miami-Dade County's plant. It is our contractor, Waste Management Inc. of Florida. And so the plant is actually up in Broward, but our trucks dump in Miami-Dade at transfer stations. They go up to the materials recovery facility, which we call a MRF because we know it well. And it's dumped on a floor. It's called a tipping floor. And they scoop it up with a front end loader, put it on a conveyor belt, and the whole process starts. And you know what they have to do first? They dig out this stuff.
And this is the plastic bags that we unnecessarily use from our favorite drugstore. And then, all right.
And I mean, and we say this all the time. Plastic bags are great. They carry things. They're wonderful. I reuse them for kitty litter. This one doesn't have any kitty litter in it, but they're very helpful and useful. You just have to do the right thing with it.
And what is it? What should people do with this plastic?
Bring it back to the grocery store. Every grocery store, doesn't matter where you shop, has a container out front or right inside the door that you can put your plastic bags in. Even the big box stores, not grocery stores.
So when I go to the drugstore, and if it's 1 or 2 items, she goes, and I tell them in advance. I don't need a bag.
Okay.
In the old days, it'd be, I want the bag with the receipt in my hand so that nobody's like thinking I'm trying to steal it.
Right.
So I just take the receipt and the 2 items, right? Rather than the bag, because I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to go in my vehicle, and then I might bring it in the house or might blow out the truck and
that's the worst.
And go down the street.
Right.
And I really don't feel like chasing it.
Yeah.
Right? So I stopped it from the get-go.
From the beginning. That's really smart. That's great.
So there's another term that the recyclers use as far as not refusing the bag. What?
Oh yeah, it's reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse.
Okay. And so I do that frequently. Because
that's great.
We have in our house, right? These plastic bags that have been there for about 5 years.
Oh my! Notice how they are in the same. They look exactly the same as when you got them. They haven't degraded in any way.
So what does happen to those plastic bags?
If you bring them back to the grocery stores, they really do recycle them. They really do. I can't speak for any of the grocery stores, but I've been at events where they have spoken, and there are markets for the plastic bags. And I think like plastic lumber is one of the users of those kind of materials.
And Jeanmarie, so I see this plastic lumber. I know a friend, he has some of this.
Yeah.
It's like extraordinary.
Oh my goodness. It's like, you can't demolish it. I mean, they use it a lot on docks and stuff, especially in water, because it doesn't degrade like lumber. So
when somebody takes this and they put it into the recycling thing, which they should not do, but they put it, what happens?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? I should walk around with a big 8x10 photograph. All right. So what happens is we said stuff goes on the floor at the plant. They pick it up, they put it on a conveyor belt. And the first kind of conveyor it goes through once it gets into the plant is something called a star screen, which is really cool. It's not a flat like rubber conveyor. It's a conveyor that has points to it. And what happens is the material is supposed to bump along. So things like broken glass, bottle caps will fall through and they'll get rid of that right away. But when the plastic bag bumps along, it wraps around the stars. And at some point, it disables the equipment. They have to shut down the plant and dig this stuff out. And I mean, they use knives, they use blow torches, they use all kinds of stuff to get the bags out of there because it's a terrible thing.
So what happens on a manufacturing level to these folks that are making those? What kind of conversations are taking place with recyclers across the country about, hey, let's change that around so that when people put it in their recycling, right, that something different will happen, because it costs the consumers a lot of money to pay to get that stuff done.
You know,
are there those conversations?
I don't know. And that sounds like a good job for someone in college and in figuring out a way to like get the bags before they wind around this thing. But they're kind of insidious. They just, they go right through on the conveyor belts and they get trapped right away.
So we know if we took that and we rolled it up and then we made a knot and we tied something, that's pretty strong stuff.
Oh, they are. I've seen all kinds of stuff like mats made out of it. And they last like forever. Yeah.
So when somebody puts this into their green dumpster,
yes,
right, what happens to it?
Well, that's a good thing to do. And if you're not going to be able to reuse it in any way, reuse it as a garbage bag, put it in your green garbage cart. It will go to our waste to energy facility. The BTU value of the bag is excellent. It generates electricity. That's a good thing.
So that's a plant owned by
Miami-Dade County.
Miami-Dade County. So you take the stuff that's in the
garbage,
green,
the green garbage.
You take it over there and you fire it up, all right? And
yes,
it creates steam.
Yes.
And creates electricity.
Yes.
And runs that plant plus
something like 35,000 more homes.
City of Homestead, folks.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And by the way, the City of Homestead is proud to be able to do that, to have electricity.
Yeah.
They feel really special with that, right? That they're able to do that. And my hat's off to them and to the county
without a doubt
for doing that. That is a lot of homes, all right? That's a pretty big thing.
Yes. And instead of blowing around on the ground, instead of, we don't even want to get into the waterways or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to use plastic bags, use them properly. If you're going to dispose of them, put them in the garbage cart, not the recycling cart.
So there's been so much conversation about pollution in the ocean.
Oh, I know.
About the disasters that are occurring, which scientists have been saying for 10 or 15 years, all right?
It's coming.
Yes, it seems to be more and more that it is here. This stuff sitting at the bottom of the ocean or floating through, we see what kind of animals get hurt by that.
Oh, I can't even watch. I mean, really, I can't. It's awful. It's just, all you have to do is the right thing. Don't drop it on the ground. Just put it in the right place.
So when I've been watching stuff on my favorite social media platform of the animals that get caught up in fishing nets and the plastic, right? And you realize once they're in it, they're stuck.
Yeah,
they're going to die
unless someone like rescues them somehow. Yes.
So let's talk about I know it's under the purview of the county, but not necessarily view out on the beaches. When we look out there and we see all the stuff that comes floating in, it's a lot of stuff.
It's
sad.
I don't know. I mean, you know how they have the currents, and you can like map the currents by putting things in the water with they have like GPS on them or something, and they can figure out the currents. I don't know where they come from, but I have a feeling they don't come from very far, and they work their way right back to our beach. And again, why would you drop something in the water?
For the same years ago, and I think I mentioned this to you before, this I live in horse country, and somebody had a horse that died, and they left it on 118th Avenue.
Oh,
So people were calling me screaming that people, look what the people are doing. I said, it's one of our neighbors that did that. It wasn't somebody from Pinecrest.
who drove the horse down? Right.
So
Mhm.
when we see this trash on the beaches and
Right.
trash in the parks that haven't been picked up yet,
Yeah.
in your front yard, it's us
It
that,
is.
that have created that.
What is it? I've seen the enemy and it is us. What-
Our parents warned us about
yes,
us.
right.
So lots of people still feel that, I know it's a little bit out of your purview, but feel that littering and dumping on the side of the roads is like okay to do.
It's not okay.
Right.
It is not okay. It is, one more time, not okay.
And I'm delighted to, and I don't know where any of the cameras are, but I know the county has cameras out there.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
To try to catch the guys that are
They've
doing that.
Caught a bunch too.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
And so frequently, when you think about what happens, if somebody dumps a pile of stuff improperly, so you have maybe the county sees it or a neighbor sees it, they call, and if it's a whole group of people have to wind up going out there. Supervisor has to go out. What is it? Is it an old car? Is it just trash? Then they have to send somebody else. So this little pile, right, requires hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go pick this up.
Not even counting what it costs to dispose of it properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about old food and old gasoline products that are at your house, the red tanks or old oil, right? I was going to say old food, but we know what to do with the old food. Yeah,
that would go in the green cart. You could put it in a plastic bag in the green cart and it would be disposed of properly.
Okay, so what do people do, when they look and they go in the garage, you got paint from a year ago, paint from 3 days ago, all right? You got the lumber there, and you got all the stuff that hoarders, I'm not a hoarder. I've managed to get through that, all right?
Okay.
What should they do with these items?
Okay, we have 2 home chemical collection centers that are open to anyone who lives in Miami-Dade County. It doesn't matter if you're unincorporated, if you're in a city, if you live in an apartment, a house, a boat, as long as you have a driver's license that say you live in Miami-Dade County, you can go to our home chemical collection centers. One is on Northwest 58th Street and one is down south by the South Dade landfill. And we will take your home chemicals. And that's another thing. Never put that on the ground either, because our water table, unless you want to drink what you're pouring on the ground, don't pour it on the ground because it goes right into our water table.
And so we know that the county is working at trying to put together a plan to eliminate septic tanks. I think 100,000 plus septic tanks, mammoth issue, right? But we see that all those things are working together to a better solution so that we have a better environment.
Right.
The county also has a certain part of the year where they say, please don't fertilize during this part of the year.
Right, because it runs off, especially into lakes or whatever. Yes.
And when we see photographs of the sugarcane runoff into our ultimate drinking water, it makes an impact, all right? And when I think of watching videos of these guys out collecting the garbage, or in the ocean, or along the beach, or the runoff from the sugarcane, is so significant, makes a huge impact. And I think obviously the younger we can start people off doing that, right? That brings us to the next question is, so what's the county going to do to help our little kids out there understand recycling and how important the environment is?
Well, DEP, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, is actually working on a curriculum. I don't know how they plan to get it into the schools. I think it's just, each county, if they have anyone who can go in and speak to the students, and it would be wonderful, it would be part of the curriculum. But it does train, it does give information. And if you learn this as a little kid, surely you'll remember it as a bigger kid. And whenever I talk to little kids, I always tell them, unless what you are holding in your hand is on fire, do not drop it on the ground. Put it in the right place.
And I think that it brings up a really good point. Let's say you're getting in your car and you're holding too many things and that item drops. You got to make a decision then. Are you going to pick it up or are you going to let it roll down the street?
You know what? Think of it as a $20 bill.
You really committed to this.
Yeah. You'd pick that up, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm listening to you. You're on my shoulder. Pick it up, Miller. Pick it up. So there's some 350,000 kids in schools, right? And I don't know what the age group is, but certainly people need to be reminded of this all the time,
It's
even
true.
if we know it,
Right.
but just so that we take that extra step.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, since I started doing this, I make sure that in my green dumpster, I got all the stuff, that's there, nice and easy. I
Good.
put them this far apart.
Oh, you're so wonderful. Thank you.
I can't get out of my head. Move it over there. Make sure it's
Yeah,
straight.
that's right.
Because this truck's going to come down the road, and you want to make it easier for them, to do that.
And not just easier for the driver, which is a great thing to do, but if your can is like lopsided, or it's the wrong way, like it opens toward your house instead of the front, that makes it a lot easier for the lid to come off. So
there is a reason why my lids are broken, because for a long time I
you
didn't know
had
what
them
to
the wrong
do.
way. Yeah.
Right? So the handle should be facing which way?
Okay. If you're going to push it out toward the street, that's the way it should stay. The handle faces the house. The front opens toward the street.
And you want it 3, 4, 5 feet apart?
Oh, yes, if you could. Oh my gosh, yeah, because
why?
It's so funny. Okay, I got to show you. Okay, so people think that the arm comes down and it slowly opens, grabs the cart, lifts it up nicely, places it back down very gently, opens the arm, but that's not what happens. The arm comes down, it goes whap, 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 whap. So anything that's like over here goes whap, and over here goes whap. So if it's your mailbox, so not good. If it's another cart, it goes right over. And that's just how they work. It's not like there's a driver in there cranking it open slowly. It's a toggle switch. You only have open and close.
One of the things that we've learned, for instance, we know the common courtesies when driving.
Yes.
What to do in and out of a driveway. This is what you do. And I think that when we understand what happens to that can when we put it out there, that it gets easier for you to do it. I was behind one of the trucks. Right?
Isn't that fun?
It is. I'm going. Somebody says, "Why don't you go around?" No, I said, "I want to watch this.
Oh, I know.
want to see how they do this."
Amazing. Yes.
And these people are really skilled, men and women.
Yes,
right? Not
absolutely.
just guys, not just right.
Mhm.
And they go down, and they pick up those things, they like this.
Yeah.
Right. And they put it back down. They move a little bit, and they go to do that. And for a guy that likes big toys, that is like a wonderful thing to be able to do.
Yes. Yes.
And I do want you to know that my grandson and I were mowing the yard the other day, and he actually started the lawn. He pulled it. He's 7 years old.
He started the lawnmower?
I said, Benjamin, way to go. And so I got a video of him doing what a proud moment for everybody. It's like, I'm trying to get him to enjoy being outside.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that you certainly come across if you play in your yard, these little pieces of paper that are there.
Oh, yes.
So guys, if you're doing your own yard, you might want to pick up that paper so cut it into 20 pieces.
Before you mow. Yes, that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so we have a few minutes left.
Okay.
So let's share some of the other favorite things to recycle.
Okay. So we said before, can with, Thanksgiving's coming, pumpkin. This happens to still have the pumpkin in it, but I didn't have an empty one. Great for recycling. Put that in the recycling cart. Aluminum foil, no good. Not acceptable. Aluminum can, good. Foil, bad. And people get confused on the little cups. It's not a bottle. So just remember, bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, cartons. So none of these are bottles, so not good for recycling. No decorations. We already talked about no plastic bags. And of course, cardboard. I always keep a little note on it to remind me to say out loud, flatten your cardboard and put it in the recycling cart. And the lid really has to close. I mean, if it's open a little bit, that's okay. But if it's open like that, when they go to lift it up, stuff is going to fall out. So do your best to flatten your cardboard before you put it in the cart.
I was listening to that last night as I was putting that little white plastic bag that was going over there that's in there. If it's too close to the top, we already know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Which is they go to like this.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining having to clean it up off the street. No, I'm going to move that. All right?
Yeah.
And so those are some of the things that we learned. Let's do it again. We have bottles, cans, cardboard.
Yes.
And
paper.
And what else?
Cartons, which are the milk and juice cartons.
Let's talk about cardboard.
Okay.
Because everybody's getting more cardboard boxes than ever before. And we have the holiday season coming up.
It's going to explode again. Yes.
So a lot of people shop online, so they get this extra box.
Right.
And So people should dispose of that properly, which is to squish it down, put it into where?
Your blue recycling cart.
Yes.
Making sure the lid closes.
And they're very strong. I don't know if they're stronger than the others, but because they're used less, they don't get beat up as much.
Right.
Christmas time, starting the first, right after Thanksgiving, people go buy Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah.
And then sometime after January 1st, in the case when I used to celebrate Christmas, it would be December 25th,
Right.
at 11:59. Okay, take that sucker out of here. Right? Bah humbug. All right. So what should people do with their old Christmas trees?
Okay. Doesn't go in the recycling cart.
Okay.
Okay. The wood from the tree may eventually be paper, but it is not paper now. So it has to, you can, if you live in unincorporated Miami-Dade, if you're in our service area, you can bring it to one of our trash and recycling centers that for the Christmas trees. We can take it. Unfortunately, if you're not in our service area, you can't do that.
And sometimes those trees get made into mulch, which is later
Yes.
available free of charge.
Exactly.
Bring your own bags or a big truck,
Right.
and you can fill it up. And
That's
then
right.
when you do your yard, you're going to smell
Smells
Christmas.
like Christmas still.
So, and we are also delighted throughout the United States that the holidays are here.
Yes.
And that the pandemic is it's not
Moving,
over yet
moving.
per se.
No, but
But
moving.
Yeah, moving quickly. My hat's off to the Miami-Dade County government and the people who really made this happen.
Oh, without a doubt.
And being able to distribute the vaccine to the people that had less access
Right.
to that. So my hat's off, especially to CHI. Thank you very much, Colonel Bradley, for doing that. So we're going to wrap it up here.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk again real quickly about the things to recycle.
Okay.
And why don't you just talk right into which camera do we have?
I think that's my camera.
The camera right there.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, talk right over there.
Right there. Bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, cartons. Those are the items that are acceptable in your recycling cart. Put them in, close the lid, wheel it out on recycling day, and they'll become new things.
Very, very good.
So
Thank you
good
very
to
much.
see you. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Jeanmarie, Massa from the Solid Waste Management
Department.
from Miami-Dade County and the Recycling Department. Frank, you done good.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again, folks. Have a great day. And Andres, thank you very much for your help.